Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're looking at a screen right now and I have to kind of apologize to you guys. The weather has been terrible for just about all summer long here in Saskatchewan, and right now you can kind of see why. See all this red stuff here? These are heat warnings and or air quality warnings. We are in the middle of a full-scale drought here. So there haven't been very many thunderstorms to shoot that I've been able to take you with me to shoot. And there hasn't been much else going on at all. As you can see here, it's just heat warning after heat warning after heat warning just about everywhere. And air quality for much of it because there are so many wildfires in the province right now. In the future, I hope to take you out with me so we can take a look at the fields around where I live, and then I'll show you exactly how bad it is in Saskatchewan these days. But yeah, I just haven't been able to get out there and do very much shooting at all because my health quality will not tolerate this kind of weather. It's too hot, it's too smoky, and it's just been terrible. So I figure what I'll do is I'll get started on doing electronics projects. So that's what this video is going to be about today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the projects I've done in the past, and I'll show you around the lab and show you around the office, and I'll just kind of show you what I'm planning to do in the future. Let's head on over to the office now. Okay, so here we are in the office. And before I talk about these 3 VCRs here, I just wanted to give you a little peek at what I used to do. I used to be a power supply reviewer for JonnyGURU.com, and I've still got a lot of those units left, as you can see here. There's a Seasonic Prime right there. Titanium, got an EVGA beside it, Intermax besides that. Right here, this is a SAMA titanium unit. They actually sent me 2 of them. One of them was used in the review, and the other one was just in case the first one failed, but it never did fail, so it's just fine. Besides that is a Master Watt Maker 1200. I had a little bit of fun at their expense with their naming scheme there back in the day. Up here, this is a FSP unit marketed under their Sparkle Power brand name. That one needs capacitors done on it, which I'll probably never get to at this point. And we've got a couple more EVGA units hiding back in there. And as you might expect, I've still got power supplies everywhere, even back there. Not sure what that one is back there, but I expect it's the FSP redundant one I got way back when. There's a Seasonic 1050 watt. They instructed me actually to never sell that one because it's an engineering sample. So there it is. And there it stays. Focus Plus Gold right there. A couple AeroCools down there. One of the big 1500s right there. I've got a lot of those left because I used to be in crypto mining. And up top here, a couple of Corsair SF units. There's a Cougar back in there somewhere. Another EVGA, Gigabyte. Silverstone back there. Actually, that Gigabyte was supposed to be for a review. However, they sent it just a little too late, so it never got done. But wait, there's more. Down here on this shelf, you all can see what that one is. Yep, I've still got it. Made in Japan, Master Watt Maker, Master Watt Maker, Master 1200, made in Japan. Make it yours. And we've got a couple of these NZXT units. One of them is still brand new in the box. The box for the AX1600i, that's powering my main computer right now, so it's not actually in there. I've still got my Mistel Vision, another UVGA, and a Be Quiet. Then way down at the bottom here, if I can get you down here, TX850M, one of the Rio Toro units, and I think that is an Anderson unit right there. Silverstone, Thermal Take. There's an FSP way back in there somewhere. And yeah, I've just got power supplies all over the place. I've got more than I know what to do with. Even back here behind the office computer, there's a bunch of power supplies. And elsewhere in the building, there are lots of power supplies. So, I guess I'll show you my Allpar stuff too. Then we'll come back in here and talk about these VCRs. Alright, here we are in my furnace room. And as you might expect, from what I just said, I did some work for Allpar as well back in the day. I wrote all of their Chrysler car stereo articles. Basically, this just involved taking them apart to show you how they were constructed and how you can service them. And I'm gonna have to warn you right now, if you need help with one of these, I'm probably not going to be much help for you anymore. And the reason behind that is Chrysler is extremely, and I mean extremely, protective of their service data with these things. You cannot find service manuals anywhere. I've tried. So what do I have left? Well, we've got the four devices right in front of you here. Got a single tape deck unit here. This is a 4CD in-dash changer. I had two of them and I think I recycled one. Actually, no, I've got both of them yet. Got two changers up here. One's a 6-disc that it doesn't work, and I think the 4-disc works. Up here, we have an extremely rare Chrysler Infinity tape deck from the 80s. This was only offered in 1 year on one vehicle. So if you can find one of these, you're doing pretty well. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, there's an Ultimate Sound deck up here. This was used as parts for the one I just showed you, because it's extremely hard to find parts for the one I just showed you. And what have we got below it here? Single disc CD player. This would be one of the Alpine built ones. Alpine did a lot of work with Chrysler back in the day. And we'll move over here. We've got another Chrysler Infinity 3 up top there. Just a normal AM/FM tuner deck right below it. And there's that other 4-disc in-dash changer I was talking about. Further on, we have the very last, I think, oh no, that's a DVD changer. This is for newer minivans. It was used in an article, and it still works as far as I know. Below that is the RBQ, which is the last head unit Chrysler ever built that you can power up without a CAN bus signal. So keep that in mind if you're looking for such a thing. That one doesn't have working changer in it right now, and I've never been able to fix it. Now what else do we have? Over here, we've got one of the AudioVox built dealer aftermarket decks, which are terrible, I might add. And way up here on the top shelf, we've got even more head units. I think this one's out of a Sebring. It's got changer control. We've got a Chrysler Infinity 4 above that, and another Infinity 3 above that. And then way up there is a premium deck that came with my mother's 91 Fifth Avenue at one point. She used to have and no longer does. But wait, there's even more. Over here, on this shelf, and the shelf above, and the shelf above that, we have an extensive collection of Chrysler Infinity speakers from various makes and models. And I have, let me see if I can get over here. Oh, here we go. These are the rare Emit tweeter version speakers that have the amps on the back. These are kind of hard to come by now, but back when I was still collecting these things, I found so many of them that I built my entire home theater with them. There are 22 of those things in my home theater. And they work rather well for what they are, I might add. Okay, I think that's about it for the Allpar stuff. Let's go back in the office. Alright, now we'll talk about my COVID projects from last year. I got so bored sitting at home that I decided to start ordering stuff off of eBay and fixing it up. And we'll start with these 3 VCRs. On the bottom here, this is my original HRS 4700U that I bought back in 1992 for 750 bucks. This guy here only worked for 2 months properly, and then developed a severe hi-fi audio problem. It would not record hi-fi properly. I finally fixed it in the year 2000, right when I was switching to DVDs. But still, I went for a long time with that not working right. So I thought, what better to do for a COVID project than do a couple more of those things. So I bought this. This is a 6900U. This is the next model up from the 4700. This one came to me as one that would not play at all. It would take tapes, it would try to start playing them, and then it would shut down. All the way down. Power off. I discovered what was wrong with it was an idler gear set that wasn't moving. It was just frozen up and gummed up and just wouldn't move. So I fixed that, and once I got that fixed, it would play, but then it had a band of noise throughout the whole picture. And that's an extremely, extremely common problem with these JVC units from the 90s. In fact, it's so common, I think it'll happen to about 90 to 95% of them. What happens is, there's a little capacitor on the drum motor underneath where the video heads spin. It's a little surface mount electrolytic capacitor, and it goes bad all the time, and I mean every single one of these just about. All 3 of these had that problem. Now the top one is another 4700U. This is the one that I decided to restore for keeps. This is basically my VCR if it never had the hi-fi problem. What I did was, it came to me with a completely broken loading mechanism. So I took the loading mechanism out of mine here, moved it up there, and then I took the orange filter for the display, put it up there, and then once I fixed up that little drum motor capacitor, this one is working perfectly. And I mean, it's in better condition than mine ever was. So I have yet to run a test tape through this one. I should get to doing that soon. But this one has been tested. I ran the Princess Bride on it, It did the whole movie just fine. But that's not the only project I did. Let me show you another one real quick. We'll just pan you over here. This, by the way, is where I used to do all my load testing for JonnyGURU. The big load tester was about where that computer is now, with the power meter right next to it and the oscilloscope right on the end there. Obviously, that stuff isn't here anymore. I have all of it, but it's all in storage, except for the oscilloscope, which went back to its owner. Now we've got another project right here. This is an RCA MTR 118 from their Dementia line of products. Dates from about 1985 or so. This one I got for absolutely free. My folks found it at a church rummage sale and just bought it for me. So that was free to me. What was wrong with it was the tape deck transport had a gummed up broken belt in it. And I thought that was all at first. So I got it a new belt and it would play, but it had a buzzing in the right channel. That turned out to be bad capacitors in the audio output stages. So this has been recapped, at least partially, with Nichicon Gold. I don't believe for a second those gold capacitors are worth any kind of price premium, but I figured it's my work. I might as well use the fancy stuff, so there I did. Okay, up here we've got another tape deck. This was another project. This is a Carver TD1700U, and it is a ridiculously good cassette deck when it works. This is, believe it or not, a relabeled Iowa ADF880. It's a triple head unit, as you can see. There's no auto reverse on this thing because when you're serious about recording, you actually don't want auto reverse. There's only one company that does auto reverse properly for recording, and that's Nakamichi. If you want a good auto reverse tape deck that records, buy a Dragon. That's it. Or you could spring for one of their UDAR units that flip the tape around for you. But yeah, there's a reason why every good recording deck does not have auto reverse, and that just comes down to tape alignment. You just can't guarantee it with a flippy head auto reverse deck like this RCA down here. So they will always come in second to these unidirectional transports like this one. This one still has a little bit of an issue with it, I won't lie. I did a full service on it, but for some reason the lubrication on the idler pulley isn't quite right yet. It gets hung up and it still sticks. So rewind, fast forward, and even play sometimes is very problematic with it. You have to sort of go back and forth until the mechanism frees up, and then you can use it for recording and playback. So we're going to have to get in there sometime and fight with that again. I'm not looking forward to it, trust me. Okay, moving on. Here's another project. Right down here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name Camber or not, but they were a Canadian speaker manufacturer from the 80s and 90s that took things extremely seriously. This happens to be a 0.5 model. It and its equivalent buddy on the other side of the room there came to me with the woofer cones completely detached from the surrounds. So I had to reattach that with contact cement. Kind of a fun job, but it was worth it. These here are VIFA tweeters, and these woofers were custom built for Camber. They are the best sounding speakers in the house, bar none, and I don't mind telling you that. If you want half decent speakers and you're in Canada, look for some of these. Either the 0.5, the 1.5, the 2.5, or the 3.5. They're all good. But you have to be alert for issues with the woofer surrounds when you do that. Anyway, they're all working fine. They sound amazing. They don't have much low end, so I'm going to add a subwoofer to them at some point. Not sure what point that'll be, but that is the plan. Anyway, I think that's about it for now. I don't think I've done any more projects that I know of. At least not any that I can talk about yet, because I've got one on video for maybe in a week or two. We'll see how that goes. I've got a cassette deck project in the works for you, and I will be showing that to you very shortly. Because I haven't been able to go out and shoot, I figured I might as well get to the electronic stuff. So I am, and I'm deliberately trying not to point the camera towards that project and how it turned out. That's for another time. Okay guys, I guess we're going to end the video in the storage room here. Very small one. And I'll show you a few more JonnyGURU related items. Up here, we have a giant wooden crate. That's what one of the two old SM268 load testers came in. And I kept it because my boss Tony did such a great job making that I just had to keep it on me. Moving down, we have a couple of things left over from my crypto mining days. We won't need to talk about them too much today. At least right now. There's a gigabyte right there. That's another one of those units that was supposed to get reviewed but didn't get here in time. And now we get to the big stuff. There's my AX1500i. It still works just fine. It powered a mining rig for quite some time, but it doesn't seem to have phased it. Down here we have one of the two gigantic Rosewell 1500 watt titanium units. Here's an Enermax next to it. I believe that's an 800 watt, yeah. That's the Max Titan titanium. We've got another big Rosewell there, also 1500. Never did manage to get to using that for mining, but I had it just in case. And now way down at the bottom, that's one of the big Superflowers. That's the actual Superflower branded LeadX titanium, 1600. There's a Colink next to it. That's also 1500. Tried to use that to jumpstart my car once and it couldn't do it. And moving over here, there's a Silverstone. I believe I used this in my sister's build, so it's not actually in there. Down here we have a bunch of fans, most of which are defective from the crypto mining days. That's what it took to cool all those rigs off. And I hope you can see this because my camera's peeking out at ISO 12800 right now. And way down at the bottom, we have two more big power supplies. One's an EVGA P2 1600, and there's a Corsair HX 1200, neither of which are being used right now. We'll come up here a bit, if I can get the gimbal to behave. And right there is the REC RF9901 power meter. I don't use it anymore, obviously, but it's here just in case I need it. So, why did I get out of power supply reviewing? A lot of people ask me that, so I figured I'd address it at the end of this video here. Well, it all comes down to money. Money and the feeling of being just like Sisyphus rolling his rock up the hill a bunch of times. When you do something for a really long time, like 11 years or so, you kind of hope that it's going somewhere. That by the end of it, you'll be somewhat better off in life than you were before. And by the time I stopped doing the reviews, I was 45 years old, and I was making $3,500 per. And I'm not talking per month, I'm talking per year. You just can't live off that, guys. my money was going down and not up, so I just could not do it anymore. Apologies to anybody who ever appreciated my work, but it just wasn't making sense financially, so I had to let it go. And well, that's just the end of the story there. I do realize that YouTube could probably do me a lot better for money doing that kind of thing, but it's just 11 years of that. Do I really want to do any more of that kind of thing? No, I really don't. That time in my life is over, and it's going to stay over. Now I'm just doing YouTube for the stuff I kind of want to do, which is electronic projects not involved with computer power supplies, and photography, and maybe anything else I can think of to do. I've got a giant Lego set that I might put on the channel. If you're interested, just drop a comment in the comment dropper downer thinger underneath, and well, maybe we'll do that. But for now, I'm just doing what I can with the best I can, and we'll just see how things go with the channel. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. See you next time.